at the age of 14, I watched the play and I liked it so much, but I didn't really understand what that meant. That, in my day, nobody was going to be doing theater. Everybody was trying to be a doctor, or a lawyer, or whatever. So I didn't know what I was going to be because I wasn't attracted to any of those things. But I watched the play for colored girls. And I thought, one day I'm going to make something like this. And then when I graduated from university, I saw a sign. They were casting for Wale Soyinka. This is in the US. I'm very afraid. I went to the audition and I was cast as the understudy. And I was very confused on the stage. And I realized it's because I was very conscious of everything that was going on. Years of designing, I realized that designing spaces with light, started designing plants because I thought, okay, the lights, the windows, nothing will change. You can change the colors, but if you plant a tree, that could change because it grows organically. And then to move from that is back to the theater again, because you're designing movement of words, inflection of words, people, what they do. It's organic. You can design some of it and some of it will just do like the tree and grow its own way, right? And I found that very interesting. So I started to direct abroad. I ran into Joke Silva, who had been in who was the head of the drama club when we were in school. So she was like, "Oh, you've been designing and directing, and I have this play that is really controversial." And that was the Vagina Monologues. So I did that, and then I knew it just seemed natural. I had been doing some small directing abroad, but it was just natural the way I just fell into the whole thing, and I just started directing from there. So then, of course, Hear Word, which is the most popular thing that I directed, has gone now for 11 years. What happens is when you've been successful at something, you kind of get a bit afraid to try something new, because it's not just that you were successful and people saw you. So they will now say, oh, she has now gone to do this other one and, it's not working. And so I wanted to do it, and maybe take the course and take my time. But, with 4 children and everything else, and it just wasn't happening. At the end of 2024, I was like, I'm feeling like the success of my play has actually contained me in a small box. And that box kept feeling smaller and smaller because no one was giving me money to make a new film. Of course, I wasn't asking anyone. And no one was even giving me money to make a new play. And funny enough, at the end of the year, I kind of prayed on it and said, I need to do different things. And so bring different things for me. And so when they called me to come to the audition for the film, for The Lost Days, I was afraid. But I said, hey, I'll go because, I'll just do a new thing, which is an audition. So I went to the audition, and at the end, they were like, oh, you're going to be cast in it. And I sort of like, said, oh, I'll come back to you. I ran away. And then I realized this is not, you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
This is fear is making you not want to do it. It's not like you yourself don't want to do it. You're afraid of judgment. You're afraid of your own judgment. I don't want to watch myself on screen and say, what the hell was that? So I started thinking, if I do such a shitty job, when I'm now working with superstars and all these, they will not trust me. It was new, it was terrifying, it was exciting, and I didn't even do things the way that I would expect my actors to do. I was in denial. But after that first scene, then I said, whoa, okay, it's really happening. Though.
This is real.
This thing is really happening. Okay, so it is. You've committed and you're here, and you're behaving in a way that you won't tolerate. So I now quickly started to try to catch up on my work. But I saw the trailer and my heart started beating.
Don't worry, you'll be fine.
And even though I didn't really make the connections in the beginning, when I started to perform, when I started to do the work, I started to realize that everything I've just told you about needing something new is where the character Chisholm is. So it was similar to me. At that time. And I thought, you say you want to do something new and then you're dealing with a character who's also doing something new. She does not procrastinate. That's something that I'm just realizing talking to you now, that I could benefit from having played that role, because I do a lot of like thinking and what if and, like a lot of hesitation, a lot of procrastination. Yeah. So that was the learning. That was nice. Yeah. And then the parallels for me with the
Mm.
women's work I've done with Hereward is, Chisom is the leader in her home, and she's a successful businesswoman. I'm not a businesswoman, but I'm successful in my field. And then, of course, the film was being directed by a woman. I was watching her, and I was, putting out the good vibe, And then, of course, Cynthia Clarke, who plays my daughter, is also very
Mm-hmm.
strong. I think it was, yeah, it's good. And the values, I was happy that it's a movie that children can watch. It's a family movie. It's about a family. And I think that, some movies you don't want your kids to watch, but this one,
That's
everybody
correct.
can watch.
Should we be looking forward to more things from you? What are you excited? What kind of stories are you excited or looking forward to? So what kind of roles? Do you have any ideas of the kind of things you want to do? Right? And also, I'm curious when the title of this film is The Lost Days. Chioma goes back to her family after so many years. Do you really believe that one can recover lost days?
To be honest, I do, even though my front of my mind says that you lose days and you lose the days. I mean, one of the things you can always replace is money, but you can't really replace time.
Mm,
However,
mm.
you can make up for lost days and lost opportunities. You can make a change. It's never too late to make a change, apologize to people, make connections, um, live your life intentionally with depth, truth, and quality. So my brain has not said, oh, what next? So if you say, what stories do I like, I'm going to be attracted to. I'm always attracted to transformative,
Okay.
transformational, life changing, community changing, country changing, world changing, for the positive stories. But I'm not saying I'm attracted to that as an actor. I might be,
You might be.
or
I
as
guess we'll find out.
yeah.
So, will you have advised
All
other
right.
people who have done plays, have been on the stage all these years to try, acting in front of a camera?
I do. I say, some actors are better and stronger at film than they are on stage.
Mm.
And some actors are better on stage than they are on film.
Wow.
I feel like I'm a director that can work because I'm also a trainer. So I'm a director that can kind of work with an actor to move from film to stage and from stage to
Take
film.
it from.
Well, after I see this film, I'll now know
You will know.
what I'm going to do.